Well, hi. Now that I can
Hi.
hear
Hello.
you.
Good to
Good to
see you
talk to
again.
you guys again. I enjoyed the finale. The first thing, though, I wanted to talk about is Spencer and Ian. Was that something that you had kind of, I guess, devised from the very beginning that you were planning on doing, or did it just kind of happen? Because obviously you like Reese, you kept him, but you got rid of Spencer and brought in Ian. I'm just curious how that kind of came about.
Yeah, we did plan it from the very beginning of this season. Um, we we realized that we had kind of played out Lane's story last season. He went from being the naysayer, why are you in charge? This won't work guy to sort of a hero who saves us. And so when we came back this season, the first thing we always do when we get in the room is say, okay, what's this character's arc going to be this season? What's this character's arc? And with Lane, we were like, what are we going to do new with him? It's kind of a challenge. So we decided we were going to kill him. But we didn't want to lose Reese. So we devised this very elaborate thing that took a lot of setting up and got to where we ended up with it.
Let me ask you, Dean, were you surprised now where you are compared to where you started out last season at the very beginning of where the show took itself, I guess?
It's been such a joy to work with Jonathan Glassner because um, he's so imaginative and he takes things into directions that I wouldn't have thought of. And then, he'll come to me, they'll say, well, what do you think about if we do this? And half the time I'm like, I don't know if that's going to work. And he goes, no, it'll work. And then he's right. And it's so exciting. Like the coma dream, for instance, I was not a fan of it when I heard the pitch on it. I thought, oh, I don't know. That could be cheesy. And it was such a beautiful script, and it was so well performed and so well directed. Now it's one of my favorite episodes. So yeah, I'm always surprised by the brilliant stuff that Jonathan comes up with. I'm thrilled at the stuff the actors bring to the table every week. So yeah, I mean, working on the show is it's like opening a present every day.
Right. I was just going to say about the coma dream. I know we were talking on our podcast. Glad you did that because we were kind of worried between Sharon and Ian, kind of, where they would go because they didn't have that time together and didn't want to feel cheated. So that was a way to bring them lots of time together. So it worked out.
That's
So
exactly why we did it,
yeah, well, it
like
worked.
you just said.
Let me ask you, Jonathan. I had asked you last time about working with your daughter, and you talked about her acting. But I'm curious, when you're writing for her as a writer, is that make it different, or you don't think anything of it? Because I would feel like if it was me, I would maybe want to, I don't know, write as many fun scenes as I could to her.
No,
And
I'm actually the opposite. I don't want to be that guy. So, but what's interesting about the character of Kelly, it was only supposed to be like a three character arc, and the character ended up being, I mean, a three episode arc, sorry, and the character ended up being so interesting, and we kept adding layers to the character that it had to keep going. And I actually, I said in the room several times to the other writers, to be clear, I'm not doing this to keep Sam on the show. And I hope it doesn't look that way. And they're all like, no, we came up with that too. It's like so that's kind of the truth of the matter is it's more the character than it is Sam that's made her character keep going and evolving. Now she's doing a good job with it. If she had done a bad job, we would have killed her off no matter how interesting it was. But you know, it's just evolved in a very strange way. But no, I try not to give her extra stuff
okay.
for that very reason, because I'm very self-conscious about it.
Well, that makes sense. Now, it seems like the finale could go either way. It could serve as a series ending. I hope it doesn't. But it could go as a season finale. I'm assuming at this point you don't know anything. Are they waiting for ratings to find out, or have you heard anything about a season three? Is there anything at all you are allowed to say?
Well, we don't know if we're getting another season yet or not. We're very optimistic about it. The fans could not have been better and more supportive and more vocal online. So we feel really great about that. But to a large degree, very early on, Jonathan and I talked about what if all of season one and all of season two was the pilot episode, and that the series actually begins on season three. And that's how we try to leave it at the end of the finale this year. It's like now we've set up that really what the arc is. It's not a lifeboat. It's not only a lifeboat. It's really a search and rescue vehicle.
Mhm.
And that opens up so many doors for us story-wise, while continuing our story on the new colony, on the new Earth. So it really we've taken the pilot and stretched it over 2 seasons to begin our show.
What was with the decision to split some of the people up the way you did? Because I was especially surprised with 2 couples you split up. I wasn't expecting that. I mean, I assume if it goes on, hopefully we'll see both sides, but what was behind that decision?
Well, the plan is for them to come back and forth, for the ship to come back and forth with, hopefully with newly saved people. So they'll see each other again. Does that answer your question? I don't know.
Oh yeah, that answered. I was just curious.
The truth is, Jonathan likes to write the show into a corner, so I have to make sure he's back next season.
Whatever gets you a job, right? Let me ask you quickly. So talk about creating Trappist, because obviously we're finally on, well, I mean, we were briefly, but now we're finally on a surface where they're going to stay for a while and it's livable. So talk about creating that environment.
Well, I mean, Dean set it up right from the beginning of the series, that the ship is designed to break apart and go land on the planet. So we knew right away what the colony would look like. Let's be honest, on our budget, it's got to look very Earth-like, or we'll never be able to pull it off. So it is a planet that is very similar to Earth in terms of where it is to its sun, gravity, atmosphere, all those things. And that's really for production reasons more than anything. And what we were capable of doing visual effects wise. This season, we were able to start using some new technology that enabled us to be able to pull it off as well as I think we did. So that's really how we designed it more than anything.
Let me just ask you really quick, Jonathan. I know you obviously worked on the Stargate series back whenever it was 17 years ago or whatever, and the technology and even just the genre has changed so much since then. What was it kind of like coming back after that long of a break, how different it was?
Well, I mean, that's a 2-part question. The technology has come so far that we would never be able to do this show back when we did Stargate. It would have cost too much and just would have been, a feature budget every episode. But the other big thing is that Dean and I really both, and he'll tell you this, we really both like to do shows that are kind of in the tone that we did Stargate SG-1 in. We like the show to have a little lightness to it, some fun, some humor, not be so, I mean, there's some great, really dark sci-fi shows on now, but that's really not what either of us like to write. We like to write something that's just a little bit more of a romp, a little more fun with some humor in it. So it was a pleasure to come back and kind of write that tone again.
One of our fans wrote on social media that a single episode of the arc is an entire season of some other show. And I love that, because I think that is true.
Yeah, that is true. Well, I definitely enjoyed it. I was a big fan of Stargate, and I'm looking forward to more leverage and everything else. So, but I do hope you get a season 3. We want to see more. We talk about it on our podcast every week, so you need to come back. All right, have a good.
From your mouth to Sci-Fi Channel's ear.
Listen. All right, have a good day, guys.
Thanks.
Take care.